Global financial markets are on high alert as the potential flashpoint in the Ukraine sends east-west tensions skyrocketing. Russian forces, without official insignia, have taken control of key facilities in Ukraine's Black Sea Crimean peninsula, and there are reports tonight of an armoured build-up on the Russian border. Though unthinkable, the risk of war between nuclear superpowers is sending shockwaves through markets. Adrian Thirsk reports.
From the Winter Games to war games, the threat of escalation and all-out armed conflict between Russia and Ukraine is being treated as very real.
Russia is inviting opprobrium on the international stage.
But so far there's been no bloodbath on global financial markets. The leaders of the world's top industrialised nations have symbolically called themselves the G7 rather than G8 to condemn what's seen as a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty.
There will be cost to the economy of Russia, cost to Russian businesses, cost to Russian individuals, and ultimately I think Russia will isolate itself on a global stage that it just spent $60 billion through the Olympics to try to present a different face on.
The ruble has hit historic lows against the greenback and the euro. That looks to have triggered a response from the Russian central bank, which late today raised interest rates from 5.5% to 7%. Analysts say Europe's immediate concerns centre on the supply of gas.
You've got to remember that around about 23% of Italy's natural gas, that 27% of France's natural gas and about 32% of Germany's natural gas comes from Russia.
Those pipelines cut right across the Ukraine. The other energy source worrying markets is oil.
Inflation may also start to really sort of push up in Russia as well. That's more of a medium-term look, but yes, as you said, it's got to be watching the oil price.
Gold, the usual barometer of geopolitical tensions, is up 1%. Elsewhere on commodity markets, wheat futures climbed more than 3%, with Ukraine the breadbasket of the region. Equity markets were also in the firing line.
The first sort of thing we saw on the reaction of the open in Asia this morning was the US future markets, and they took an absolute hammering. So they have stabilised a little bit, but they are down quite hard. So the Dow is down about 1.1%.
In Australia, the share market's All Ordinaries Index was down 60 points at one stage before recovering much of the lost ground. The big question is how long the crisis will continue and how close to the brink it gets.
Certainly in the days ahead, if this, they continue to do tit for tat, if Russia continues to sort of ramp up its military presence on the border and also therefore in the Crimean region itself, it will certainly increase volatility. We can already see that coming.
The Australian government today called in the Russian ambassador as Labor MPs urge the government to consider sanctions against Russia. The ambassador maintains Russia is acting in the interests of ethnic Russians in Crimea.
That's why they actually asked us to draw our support, especially financial and the necessary means to stabilise the situation there.
The Trade Minister Andrew Robb has now cancelled the trip he was due to make to Russia.